Crossover Report with our series 3 Guys, 1 Mic. Haven't done a video here in a few weeks. Been a little MIA for you, but going to do a little bit of an NBA update here for you today. Nick Damiani, Paul Lamb, myself, Neil Doyle, rocking the beautiful Crossover Report shirt, I might add. I want to thank all of you that have bought one. But yeah, today this video we're going to do a little bit of an NBA quarter away through the season so far. A few different topics we're going to get into today. A little video for you, a little NBA video. So first, obviously something we have to talk about, Warriors. It's been the key story in the NBA so far. 23-0, just the dominance they've shown coming off of their NBA championship last season. Steph Curry just continuing his dominance, 32 points per game, 6 assists and 5 rebounds. Just another season he's putting up more MVP numbers. In all their games they scored 100 points or more. Just dominating. I mean, a lot of games they're winning by, I think their first week or 2 weeks, I think they won all their games by more than 15 or something it was. I mean, they're just showing they're coming off of this championship from last year, and it's just kind of fun to watch. Are either of you truly shocked by this at all? I mean, I don't think a lot of people are surprised, but some people are. They didn't think they'd be 23-0 at this point.
I'm definitely shocked that they're 23-0. I don't think I'm shocked that they're the best team in the NBA. I mean, they won the finals last year for a reason, but to go 23-0 in this league is really impressive. And I'm actually excited to see how much longer they can go for.
Yeah, I think it's, like Nick said, it's shocking that they're 23-0 just because you thought at some point, they get tripped up along the way. They've had 2 really close games with Toronto. But yeah, it's not surprising to see how well they played. I mean, the only person they lost from last year was David Lee, and he was hurt most of the season anyway. But they bring back everybody, and you just figure another summer of practice, another summer of getting closer and closer, they're just going to be that much better of a team.
And, something that just came out, Las Vegas, they're saying, barring that this team stay healthy for pretty much the rest of the year, there's only one game in March where they go to San Antonio where Golden State is the underdog. So they're only an underdog once this year. That's assuming everybody on the team stays healthy. This team stays healthy. I mean, is there going to be a team in the West that's going to be able to, come playoff time, if this team is healthy, that's going to be able to give them maybe a 7-game series? Is there, in your minds, any team that can do that?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. We're talking about a team that hasn't even lost 1 game yet. We're trying to find a team that can beat them 1 time, not a team that can beat them 4 times in a 7-game series. I mean, it's going to be really tough. I think the Spurs, maybe as the year goes along, maybe the Warriors do start to slip up a little bit and health issues might happen. And normally the long season gets to at some point. But as of right now, I don't think there's anybody that can even compete with them in a 7-game series.
Like Nick said with the health issues, I think Klay Thompson has actually been hurt right now. That could end up hurting them down the road if he has some issues. But yeah, the Spurs with Popovich, you can't really count them out because he can think of a strategy. But I don't know if their guard play is good enough. You've seen when the games have been close, you have to have good guard play, like the Raptors with DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. Like you have to be tough up front. And another obvious choice to take them in the series would be the Thunder, because the Thunder's second best player on any night is going to be a lot better than whoever the Warriors' second best player is, because the Thunder's second best player is Durant or Westbrook on a given night, and they're 2 of the top 5 best players in the world right now, probably 2 of the top 6 or 7 maybe. So I think that's a team that could maybe take them in a 7-game series, and then the Clippers too. They just have to figure out. I don't think they can beat them in a series, but they can definitely compete. They showed they can compete with them. I think they were about like 23 at one point when they played a couple weeks ago. They just haven't figured out how to close out games, how to play in the second half.
Should be fun to watch. Obviously, it's been the story so far in the NBA. The Warriors' dominance. Their next game is in 2 nights against Boston, which should be another win, and they most likely go to 24-0. But that's been the fun part in the NBA, betting on when the Warriors are going to lose their first game. So Golden State, been fun to watch. Another thing, obviously, in the last week, it's been out there, Kobe Bryant announcing that, this is going to be his last season and he's going to retire as a Laker. Kobe, this is his 19th year in the league. He's obviously been one of the best players in the world. When he's out there, he'll retire and arguably probably be maybe a top 10 player to ever play the game. I think the question is, though, is he going out in the right way? I mean, he's coming out this year. He's averaging about 32 minutes per game, 16 points, but it's every game now the last week or so that he said he's retiring. It's like a circus show. It's like the farewell tour. Every game is treated in a way like an all-star game, but Kobe's the only all-star on the floor. He's taking every shot. He's taking close to like 20 shots a game. He's shooting 20% from the field, so he can go out there and just play awful, and he's really kind of just piling up the losses. But is it the right way for him to go out? You know, knowing Kobe, the winning mentality that he has, is he doing the right thing, or is this the right way, I guess, to say maybe for him to go out as a Laker? Going out like this more? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's Kobe, so you have to expect him to go out like that. But at the same way, it is tough always to see a legend, kind of like what we're seeing with Peyton Manning too, where you see a legend really on their last leg, not much left in the tank. I think my biggest issue with Kobe is not that he's shooting a lot, but the shots he's taking, I mean, are difficult shots. He's shooting like 11 or 12 threes a game, and he's never been a great three-point shooter. I mean, he's an all-time great clutch shooter and everything like that, but he's shooting more threes almost than Steph Curry is, and he's shooting them at like 31% or something.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, I think he's just
1%.
20%, exactly. So in that aspect, I think he's just not making the right decisions. He's not doing anything that's going to help this team win, help this team get any better. If you're the Lakers, I don't know that this is in any way a good year of your rebuild, because now I saw they moved D'Angelo Russell and I think Julius Randle maybe to the bench too. I know D'Angelo Russell's going to be coming off the bench. So those young guys are the core of your team, and now you're going to spend an entire season really just being stagnant, not getting any better. I think in that way, Kobe's kind of letting down the Lakers, not letting them move forward like he knows they need to.
Yeah, exactly. With killing the rebuild, basically, by taking all these shots. You said you had no problem with the shots. I got some problems with the shots. I mean, you can't be taking 30 shots a game at this point in your career when you're not hitting them. I mean, you just got to know you don't have it anymore. I know it's tough for him to do because he's such a prideful guy, and he's been doing it for years, and he's hitting all these tough shots, but it's just not there anymore. And I think he's got to accept that and accept the mentoring role kind of thing where he can get D'Angelo Russell or Julius Randle more involved to help the Lakers down the road. If he really wants to retire a Laker, he can help this team in the future.
Yeah, it's been, the story last week for the Lakers, and, they're 3-18 right now, so there's really, I think, no question, and it's probably going to continue how it's going. It's going to be the Kobe show. Every town, arenas are going to be packed, standing ovations for him.
Well-deserved.
Yeah, it is well-deserved, but it is sad because then again, like we've said with the rebuild, what the Lakers have been trying to do, I don't want to say it's the selfishness, but, I mean, it is, you're sending a grade out, so I don't know. It's been interesting to watch, and their next game is actually tonight. They go to Minnesota, so I'm sure it'll be another loss, most likely, for the Lakers would be my question. You never know. And then our last topic we're going to talk about something that happened about a week ago or a week and a half ago. Jahlil Okafors, obviously the rookie this year, out and for the 76ers, had a little altercation when they were out in Boston before Thanksgiving, and videos got leaked. A little altercation between a fan or whatever, a little scurry between the two, and videos were shown, and it resulted in a 2-game suspension. Okafor obviously having a great rookie season so far. Is this kind of, I don't want to say, I mean, this is kind of a side we really, I don't think, have seen of Jahlil before, especially with the 3 of us all being from the South Side. He went to Whitney Young High School, a school right near us. You never really heard of Okafor as being a guy that, caused trouble, was always a kid that got good grades, never had any issues that, came out that at Duke. Is this kind of a shocker to maybe see this side of Okafor, or is this just kind of a process, him as a young player, 19-year-old only, learning the ways, traveling in the NBA?
Yeah, I think it's pretty shocking. Like you said, he was always a really good kid, quiet guy, it seemed like. But, I mean, he's got millions of dollars now. He's on a team where he's basically the go-to guy. And we talked about this on Twitter the other day, that there's no real mentor for the 76ers. So who's he going out to these clubs with at night? 23-year-old guys with $5 million in their bank account just looking to have a good time. There's nobody to keep him in line really over there. I mean, he's losing a lot of games. I think Paul talked about this one day that he's already lost more games than he lost the entire high school and college career combined already this year. So maybe there's a little frustration that he's letting out in the offseason. In the nightlife. But, I mean, nonetheless, I mean, he's just a 19-year-old kid with millions of dollars, not knowing what to do with it at night. Maybe he needs more guidance.
Yeah, I think I don't know that I'm shocked by it, but I think there's a couple parts to it. I think first off, it's frustration. Like Nick said, he was always on such great teams in high school, Whitney Young, and then last year at Duke. And not only that, he was surrounded by great players. I mean, he was at Whitney Young with Paul White, and then he was at Duke with Tyus Jones and some other guys. And now he's on a team where there's really not a lot of talent. There's not as much talent as he's used to. And I think on top of that, I think going into draft night, or maybe at least the night before, I really think he thought he was going to the Lakers. And I think eventually the Lakers told him we're going with D'Angelo Russell. And I think that set him back a little bit. That hurt him a little bit. Because obviously he didn't want to go to Philadelphia. But I think also, like Nick said, it's the veterans. If you don't have people around you that can teach you the ropes, how can you learn the ropes? You know, that's a tough thing to do. I think that the 76ers are taking steps now. Like we said on Twitter, they just hired Jerry Colangelo, who's a legend in basketball circles. He's crafted this new era of USA basketball with all the, LeBron and Kobe and Durant and everybody on it. He's been the guy that's kind of crafted those teams. I think that's the guy that's going to help him down the road, bringing some vets, bringing some guys that can tell him, hey, that's not how we do things in the NBA. But I'm not afraid. I'm not worried about Jahlil Okafors. I think this kind of takes him out of the Rookie of the Year competition just because they're not going to want to give it to somebody who's had character issues. Not that he's not deserving of it. His stats are great. He's averaging 17 to 8 or something. But I just think that this sets him back in the Rookie of the Year competition a little bit too. But I'm not worried. Down the road, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't see Jahlil. And like you said, I think it's the lack of a veteran presence. And it's just a learning experience. He's a young kid. You got to learn traveling in the NBA. There's going to be times where you have a night where you can go out like they did in Boston. And obviously, the cameras are always on you when you're a superstar. So you got to, know how to act. And he'll learn from it. And, like you said, bringing in Colangelo, I think another incentive for Okafor, like you said, with, thinking maybe he was going to be a Laker and not being there now, maybe he could show the Lakers that you really passed up on, you passed up on me and you shouldn't have. And, the 76ers are not going to make him the cornerstone, franchise player he should be and build around him. And you never know. So bringing in Colangelo can really maybe turn Okafor's mindset around, maybe knowing you're bringing in a big name like that who's going to possibly be able to go out, maybe get a player or two, in the draft next year, bring in another young stud. So should be fun to watch, see what Okafor does. I don't think we see any more of this. That's going to do it for us. Our 3 topics, a quarter of a way through the NBA season. Still a lot of NBA left, but some fun stories here early going that we can talk about. So that's going to do it for us here on 3 Guys, 1 Mic. Paul Lamb, Nick Damiani, myself, Neil Doyle, Crossover Report. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.